So we've found somebody who's worse than Vladimir Putin. His name is Donald Trump. All of the work that we put in, the entire world has put in since World War II to prevent exactly what we got going on now. We're trying our best as human beings to survive with less and less. Our rights have been gone for decades. We haven't had the Constitution since 9/11. And then, of course, we got hateful Republicans. It's amazing that that was President Lincoln's party because the majority of the people who are supportive of slavery and racism tend to be Republicans. How did that happen? It's no longer the individual that counts. See, it used to be that your vote counted for something. Now you're not educated enough to know what you're even voting on. You're just trying to decide which liar you believe more. We've got people posing as law enforcement and actual law enforcement agencies going along with this stuff. These are traitors. If Donald Trump wants to send troops into Minneapolis or Portland or any other city in America, it is up to the people of that city to do something. While liberals have been bitching about the Second Amendment, trying to get it taken away, the fact is, until these ICE agents are hunted down the way that they hunt people like us. Yes, I was born in the United States, and I am not the primary target of ICE, but I am an American citizen, and ICE is targeting American citizens. Also, law enforcement nationwide has been doing this to the homeless for years, but you don't care unless it happens to somebody in a house. It's got to happen to a white woman for any of you to actually give a shit. If it happens to a white man, who cares? Especially if he's homeless. That's reality. And then there's, of course, they want to push we've got these druggie programs for all these druggies. Yeah. But these druggie programs don't help the druggies, and they sure as hell don't help any of the people who are sober. We don't have honest politicians anywhere. If you think that things are nice and fine and dandy, it's because you're not homeless. Donald Trump is ordering his Gestapo to kill American citizens. That's literally what he has done. And the American citizens are showing what? That they're just going to lay down and take it? There are a lot of liberal people who own firearms. There are a lot of liberal people who are in the military who know how to use those firearms. The thing is that the police have been shooting unarmed homeless people for decades. Sorry, a lot longer than that. But you care only when it's somebody in a house. Whether that be a black person in a house, a white person in a house, a male in a house, a female in a house. The fact that they're in a house gives them more credibility than anybody on the street because of rhetoric like Donald Trump's. Rhetoric that targets a group of people and blames all of them for the crimes of a few. This is a fucking pedophile, for Christ's sake. There's more than just circumstantial evidence. You guys got to see how whenever Trump's henchmen are asked direct questions, they play stupid, get attitudes, or smile ear to ear like they know they're getting away with something and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I speak up about police officers doing that, and also about, well, for example, when I went to the autism advocacy place in Warrenton, Oregon, we've got recordings on this very channel of those women, well, at least one of them, laughing at me. She thought the situation was hilarious, so I just never went back. Everywhere I go, I'm targeted over crimes I never committed. There's also the crimes that I've been forced to commit to protect myself and others. It's one thing to pretend like I'm some schizophrenic, delusional nut job freaking out for no reason. It's another thing to take a look at the evidence. Now, I've never been allowed a day in court against the Bollingers, ever. Everything has been done to prevent me from showing my evidence or facing them in court. It's because, like most of my countrymen, they are cowards. Just like the police, who are cowards. Just like BLM, who are cowards. Just like ICE, who are cowards. And the KKK, who are cowards. These are gangs. These are groups of bullies whose only interest is in their special interest group. BLM doesn't care about you. BLM cares about the narrative, even if it's false. The KKK doesn't care about you. They care about their BS narrative. They don't care if it's false. And our government tells the poor to hate each other. Don't blame the government because the poor just aren't working hard enough. Meanwhile, we're told about how bad it is in other countries. And then people from other countries come here and tell us how good it is in those countries. People come here and say, yeah, where I'm from, it's a village. I was born in that village. When I became a man, the village built a house for me. Not like an American house. They built that out of what they had. But then that also depends on who I've met and where they're from. And in Boulder, it's a multicultural area. And one of the things about liberals, well, we have encountered a situation here where this is why we have the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment exists so that you can protect yourself and your loved ones from a tyrannical government, which is what we have. Our government is impotent. Our government is incapable of doing anything about Donald Trump, not just destroying the United States, but destroying stability and safety for people the world over. Nations who have contributed time and time and time again. Donald Trump has done everything that he can to show that he doesn't care about anyone, and neither do his goons. They don't care about you, they don't care about me. They care about plastering their name on everything. So this Republican reminds me of a Boulder liberal. What do liberals in Boulder do? Well, they have a bunch of works projects that are paid for by primarily the taxpayers, and much of the labor is done by people who are either poor, people who are picked up that are homeless, basically slave labor. People who are arrested, for example, for covering up when it's snowing while they're camping within city limits. That's a crime. Now you've got community service, and for your community service, you might have to go volunteer at one of these works projects. And then some other guy who never touched it puts his name on it. Donald Trump putting his name on everything. And what are you doing? What are you doing about that? That right there alone is bad enough. But he's getting a lot of innocent people killed. I don't know how many people ICE has killed to date. But I do know that these white Americans who don't give a shit about the homeless do care about immigrants. I get to hear white Americans who don't give a shit about the homeless, but they care about black people. They care about BLM. How about we care about the victims instead of arguing over who is allowed to be a victim? Donald Trump is a disgusting excuse for whatever it is that he happens to be. I'd say a human being, but a human being has a conscience. And this is a spoiled rich boy that doesn't know what an actual day of work is. Don't tell me that his daddy having him mow the lawn is a day of fucking real work, because it's not. And I am disgusted by working class Americans who know what real work is, that believe that some rich punk is going to rescue them. This man knows nothing about you, nothing about your situation, and does not care. I'm not willing to point a gun at people, but I'm sure as hell willing to take a bullet for you. I'm willing to give them something to shoot at while you zero in a bead. I believe that killing people is wrong, but I don't believe that defending your family is wrong. If an armed thug comes into your house pointing guns at your children, by all means, you have every right to defend your family, to protect your family. If gangs of armed thugs are running through your neighborhood and terrorizing you and your neighbors have a responsibility to protect your neighborhood. Obviously, you cannot depend on the police to do so. You cannot depend on ICE to do so. Donald Trump has said loud and proud that the Constitution doesn't matter. Congress doesn't matter. The Senate doesn't matter. Judicial branch doesn't matter. He just simply does not care. And what are Americans doing about it? Well, we've got a bunch of liberals who showed that they were so interested in giving up guns, and now there's an absolute need for them. Do you guys really think that you're going to be able to handle 3 more years of this? I'm willing to give up my life for a good cause. I'm just not willing to take people's lives. There's a lot of horrible things that people have done to me in my lifetime. There's also the fact that I grew up with a family that chose drugs and alcohol over family. There wasn't going to be no $1 million loan from my daddy. There's a lot of people in the United States who are not willing to kill people. Most of those people understand at least some part of infrastructure. Most of those people had jobs that allow them some information that most people, the average American, isn't going to have. If it comes to the point where Americans actually have to disassemble our own infrastructure, we don't need a head to the snake. Y'all remember the "Don't Tread on Me" flag, don't you? Flag with a snake that was diced into pieces. Don't tread on me. There were several variants of that one, both the "Don't Tread on Me" slogan as well as the flag with the snake. One of them, it wasn't chopped up, it was coiled up. So there's a lot of our history that we're throwing away. There's also our safety and security here in the United States is dependent upon Europe. It is dependent upon our allies being the front line and establishing the front line. Americans tend to show up after the fight's already started. Now we've got a situation where we've got a megalomaniac who, instead of working together with Greenland to reinforce it, if we need NATO troops there, okay, send NATO troops there. If we need United Nations troops there, by all means, send United Nations troops there. If we have to send troops to Greenland to defend Greenland, that is completely different than conquering it by military force. That is completely different from stabbing all of our allies in the back. And don't pretend that these countries don't contribute. Our infrastructure is based on those foreign countries. These countries have worked with us and changed their infrastructures to better support the United States and our arsenal of democracy. But where's democracy? It's gone. It's just gone. We've got a country that's being run by people who are obviously pedophiles. And then we got a bunch of innocent people who are being victimized over it. We got families going hungry. We got families going to funerals. We got families going to prisons in foreign countries. Families. We're not talking about just one or two people. We're not talking about a couple of dozen people. Minneapolis is under siege right now. And you get to see every sheriff's deputy, every police officer standing in that line with those ICE agents. Those are terrorists. Those are the reason that you have the Second Amendment, because it is obvious that your First Amendment rights are gone. They don't work. They don't function. These people don't care because they are not afraid for their lives. But we are. And we have every reason and every right to be. Especially the homeless. Because BLM doesn't care. The KKK doesn't care. The government doesn't care. Members of all of these groups take advantage of us as their bread and butter. When you've got people that go to a BLM rally, and after the BLM rally, they want to light some artillery shells and throw them at homeless people. So, despite the fact that liberals basically shot themselves in the foot with the whole we need to make it illegal for everybody except for criminals to have guns, and then we're going to slap criminals with guns on the wrist, like Chris Stafford here in town. I tried to turn him in over those firearms for over a year before he was arrested for it. He got a slap on the wrist, no prison time. Then there's, Ted Bollinger. After Natalie was killed, he was again, as a felon, busted with an illegal firearm and a bunch of methamphetamines. Then he went on a multi-state high-speed chase with Natalie's twin sister in the car. They did that on my birthday in 2019. Yep. So every time they do something reckless or stupid, and Alicia Bollinger goes missing because she's out on another bender, I have to deal with another influx of people threatening to kill me and my friends and family. Meanwhile, unlike Donald Trump, I don't have any protection from this. I don't have a big white house with a big long lawn and armed gunmen protecting me. I am, however, in the United States of America. If it comes to the point where I need a firearm to protect my friends and family, I am absolutely certain that one will be provided to me. I've already had over 24 people in this town offer me firearms free of charge, or for little to nothing, and I have turned all of them down. I also know there's people here in town who have gun collections, many guns, many firearms, just like people in Nebraska. I learned to shoot in Washington State when I was 12, and I've been out shooting in Nebraska many times since then, but I still refuse to own a firearm. That doesn't mean that I'm not willing to teach people tactics, how to protect themselves and how to defend themselves, because when these agents come at you, it's better if you don't kill them. It's better if you disarm them, subdue them, and make sure that you process them as POWs, because we are at war. The United States government has declared war not only on the American people and the American poor, but the whole world except Russia. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, being friends with Putin, wants to use Putin as his excuse why we should invade Greenland. This is disgusting.